Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome, welcome. Just getting things set up for a second. Hi, Amy. It's been a little while. Great to see you and have you join in. Thanks for saying hello. Happy 5th of July, everybody, on this Sunday morning. Catherine, good morning. Catherine Ramati. Yes. And Matt, welcome. Those of you that know me have recognized this background, and it might tell you I am back home after my trip. So a week ago, I joined you from the roof of my hotel, I guess, in Guatemala on the Lake Atitlan. So I am now back home, and what a whirlwind of a time it has been. Okay, no yoga today. Well, glad that you remembered to join. Yeah, so we're here for our regularly scheduled weekly live stream, well, somewhat weekly, of spirit messages. We're going to draw cards, we're going to do Reiki, Ancestral Clearing, and oh, thanks, Catherine. I don't know. I haven't noticed if I look tan, but when you're the one becoming tan over time, it's not something you notice. I am not well physically, so we're just going to go with the flow here and see how long that can flow. Hi, Gina. Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Great to have you, and thanks for saying hello. Excuse me. Yeah, I've had a big health challenge in the past week, and it's been quite a challenge. And I was thinking about it and thinking, because I'm feeling, you know, I thought of canceling the live stream today, but then I thought, no, I'm not as bad as I was. So anyway, we're here. We're gonna see how it goes. Hi, Nancy. No, it's not the flu. It's headaches that just started, and I'm gonna have to go to the hospital in a few days and see if, you know, if there's any cause that they can see on a scan. But what I wanted, excuse me, what I wanted to share about that the other night, it was excruciating, and it was probably, I mean, I can't think of more pain that I've ever been in my entire life, honestly. I mean, I'd say top 5. And I was not able to do anything or go anywhere because I was in such pain. And I had to bring in my spiritual toolkit, because, you know, when you have nothing else, when there's nothing left, that's all there is. And, you know, all of my years of meditating, all of my years of learning and practicing, just naturally defaulted to the surface, in that, like, even breathing was painful because it would create pressure in my head. So, and I couldn't sleep because I had to sit up, because I couldn't lay down because it was so painful. So, like, the least painful position for me was to be like sitting up like this, but yet it's nighttime, I want to sleep, but I can't, and I can't go anywhere. So I just was stuck. And it just naturally arose that I didn't turn it into a meditation, but those are the tools that I used. Meaning, life became about one breath at a time and nothing else. So I had to fully focus on each breath coming in and going out. I had to be fully present and mindful. I had to be the witness and the observer of my physical experience, remembering and knowing that I am not the body, I am not the pain that I'm feeling. And, you know, it was just one breath at a time. And I was even repeating like mantras to myself and counting breaths and all of those things. So, you know, it's interesting, and it wasn't something I planned, but it's like when you're faced with an experience that you have little to no choice to change in the moment, there's nothing to do but be fully present with the experience. And I had to bring myself back again and again to the present moment, to each breath, because to think about having to endure until morning was too overwhelming. So I don't know if anybody's been in that sort of a position before, or if anybody deals with pain to that level. But it was very, very challenging. And I still have a headache now. It's still there. So I'm going to be getting a scan in a few days, and we'll see what's there. But it can be valuable and important to see, you know, how can we actually use these tools in real life, in moments? What is the practical application? Hi, J.E. Thank you, Amy. Yeah, I was just talking about, I've had these horrible sudden onset headaches that have been the worst I've ever felt in my life. So, and that there was a night, like 2 nights ago, that, yeah, I had to just deal with it, because there was no other choice in that moment. So life is lifing. How was everybody's 4th of July? If you celebrate, if you're an American. You know, it's funny living in Mexico. If you call yourself an American, or if you talk about America, Mexicans have corrected me with my wording, because as an American, you know, I grew up using those words. But yet in Mexico is a part of America. Mexico is a part of North America. Canada is a part of North America. So it's actually not totally accurate to call yourself an American, because that could include Mexico or Canada as well, or even North America, South America. So anyway, now I have Now I'm more mindful about using that word, and it's interesting living in Asia, living in Bali, Indonesia. It's normal to say, "Where are you from?" "I'm from America." But you come over here, you say that, "Oh, well, which part?" So, oh, wonderful, Nancy. Yes, JE, and I have a scan scheduled this week. Thank you. Nancy, I'm hoping it's, quote, just migraines, because if it's not, then the other options aren't good. But yeah, it's kind of been like that. So yeah, us as humans, we have 4 areas, like, kind of, that you can put everything in life into. The area of the body, of health, the area of relationship, the area of money, finances, the area of, like, personal spiritual growth. Really, anything can fit into one of those 4 buckets. And I had a spiritual teacher tell me a long time ago, like, when we come into this life, and if you think about it, think about which area has been the biggest challenge for you overall in your life. Has it been your physical health or body? Has it been money? Has it been love or relationship? Has it been personal, spiritual, relationship with self? And many of us come in and we have one major area we work with. But she said the more evolved people, the ones that want to evolve faster, will choose more than one area, before they come into this incarnation. Luckily for me, the physical health has not been that. And I honestly think that's the most challenging one, because you cannot escape your physical experience in your body in any moment. And it really requires a lot of faith and discipline to work with fear around, health conditions, around happenings in the body, around dis-ease, diagnoses, all of that. And all those areas are challenging, for sure. Yeah, I'm so glad that you're better, Nancy. And yeah, I had to use mind-body practices, basically, is what I was doing, just to make it through. So anyway, saying all that to say, we can always take lessons and growth from anything that happens in our lives. And hopefully we'll be able to just have this entire live stream. Last week we had to cut it short because the internet was not cooperating. I know many of you were there for the live stream from beautiful Lake Atitlan. Yeah, it was an adventure. It was an amazing trip. I was gone for 3 weeks. Those of you that know, those of you that joined me on some of my live streams. It was such a rich and beautiful experience. It was a reset. How many of you travel or have traveled and have had that experience of, just getting away from everyday life? When you come back into it, it gives you a new perspective. And even if you're away long enough, like for me, 3 weeks, that's a fairly good amount of time, to pull yourself out and to be able to look in. And that's why people love travel. We love travel because we're stimulated, because we're more present, because we're more open. Everything is new, everything is different. That forces presence, living in the moment. We learn new things, we get new perspectives. We're able to pull ourselves out of that day-to-day life for a moment. And yeah, I mean, I feel renewed with, you know, what I'm up to in my life as far as my business, you know, here with you on Insight Timer, the things I'm creating, the things I'm going to create, my coaching practice, my Etsy store that some of you have heard me talk about. And even, you know, choice on where I may choose to live in the next few months. It might not be here. So of course you'll all hear more about that, so stay tuned. Amy, you've had physical health challenges since you were 12. Yeah. I mean, it really does, because there's no distraction. There's no escape from the body. I mean, sure, we can take drugs, like, I mean, not drugs to treat the condition, but like you could take a drug to get high and forget or whatever. But even if, you know, somebody is dealing with something physical, you know, turn on the TV or like scroll on the phone. If all of these distractions and coping mechanisms, you know, if it's something physical inside the body that's being felt, it doesn't help. You know, if it's emotional, you know, it's much easier to distract and have that kind of be a band-aid for a moment. But like right now, my head is pounding and it's just, you know, it's there. So these things stretch and grow us, and everything is here for our highest good. So I've had to remember, how is this all here to help me? How is this conspiring for my highest good and to help me? So these are things that you can think about for yourself as well. I like to share my own experience, but not just as a nice story. That's never my intent of just, oh, let me tell you because I want you to hear. You know, I tell stories and things and relate my experience to inspire you, to provoke you, to have you reflect on your own life, your own circumstance, to give you new insights, clarity, new ideas, and maybe a new perspective, or even just identification. You know, you're not alone. You know, those of you that said you've had similar issues. So we've got all the cards now. Since I only brought one card deck, of course, I'm not, you know, I'm woo-woo, but I'm not woo-woo enough to bring multiple card decks on my vacation, so I only brought one. So we've got all of our decks here. So we're gonna start with a beautiful, wonderful Michael Singer, who, you know, I mean, the other night when I was in excruciating pain, I don't actually think I remembered relax and release, but I was doing it in my own way. So let's see what he has to say as we dive in. Can't make this shit up. Enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? Enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? So that's exactly what I'm talking about as far as like having a physical sensation, having a physical health challenge where you feel like shit on the inside and there's no escape from that. You know, Michael Singer talks about that often. He has one analogy he gives where he's like, okay, wait, I don't know if I can remember it. Actually, I'm not going to be able to, it'll be garbled if I try and say it, so never mind. But he basically, he talks about, we have inner sovereignty over our interior world, no matter what's going on. And so, he always says, we always try to manage and manipulate the outside world so we feel okay on the inside, and that's backwards. So even if we do have something challenging going on inside of us physically, we can work with that. And then if we can come to a place of even a bit of peace, no matter what, who cares what happens outside? And so this card is saying even more than that: enthusiasm, joy, love. If you're always feeling this on the inside, what's the difference is what's happening outside. And that's the journey. That's the sovereign journey. And even me thinking about the example I gave, it's like I did my best to overcome myself in that moment by not just, I was trapped in my body, trapped in my head, trapped in my thinking. I could have catastrophized. I could have ruminated on shit, just, how horrible it was. But instead, I chose to work with what was happening with full presence and mindfulness to the best of my ability. So we all have that. Thank you, J.E. So we'll look at Work Your Light now. Oh, and I do want to say, and I know many of you are regulars and have heard this and know my 50th birthday was a few weeks ago, and June was my celebration month and my trip and all. I do still have openings for my 50th 50 gifted coaching sessions for my 50th year of life. So I've got a handful left, and I, want to make sure to gift those to people. So there's no expectation, there's no stipulation, there's no exclusions unless you've already had the 50th gifted session. But if you're a client, if you've had a gifted session with me before, or a series of them or whatever, everybody is included. So if you would like to receive that gift, just send a message with the word 50 or the numbers 50 to an Insight Timer, Facebook, Instagram, website, YouTube, whatever, and we'll get that scheduled. I've got many wonderful sessions coming up in July with many of you, and it's really been really fun already. And please follow me here on Insight Timer, YouTube. I'm double live streaming this in YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, website. Hey, Dreisel. Welcome, welcome. Shalom. For some reason, your comment just showed up if you're still around. So, Work Your Light. Lemuria, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. Creating heaven on earth. It's happening. So Lemuria, from what I know, and somebody please jump in if I'm off here, but it's sort of like an Atlantis, or something like that, that doesn't exist anymore. And maybe it was some sort of like paradise on earth at that time. But the bigger message is creating heaven on earth. It's happening. And, kind of tying back to this theme of what I'm talking about here, of having like inner sovereignty over your own interiority and over your own space and your own self. You get to be the creator of that. You have everything you need within you to be sovereign over your own life and yourself, to create enthusiasm, joy, and love. And it's already happening. So everything is conspiring to help us to do that. Creating heaven on earth. You know, creating heaven here on the inside. That is the most difficult, challenging, and powerful and freeing journey that we can have. You know, because there's very little that we can change outside of ourselves, and we all spend our lives trying to do that, manipulating, controlling, managing people, you know, places, things around us, living conditionally. And it's understandable, so it's not about shaming and making ourselves wrong for it. But it's like all of this is trying to turn us back to ourselves in the only, you know, thing we can control is our thoughts, our attitudes, our emotions, our reactions. When I was doing my Michael Singer live streams where we would listen to his talks, I think my favorite one, or top 5, and I think the one that we started with was called Give Up on the Old Way. Maybe some of you remember. Give up on the old way. The old way is trying to change the outside so we feel different on the inside. That's the old way. We just naturally, it's just very human. We naturally go, what can I manage? What can I control? What can I manipulate? What can I get? And we do all that so that we feel a certain way on the inside. So he's like, we need to flip that around. You need to let go of just this natural inclination to change our outside world, to feel different on the inside. Start with in here. And as I said, my example, you know, forced me into that choice because there was no other, there wasn't anything on the outside. You know, I could have, you know, called an ambulance or whatever, or called somebody to take me to the hospital at 1 a.m., but I chose not to do that. So we've got our sacred rebels here. And this beautiful card we have seen before. What you want wants you. What you want wants you. So just remembering that. And I just keep thinking about tying this back into, you know, what do you want and why do you want it? You know, we all want things in our outside world. We want things to happen. We want things to stop happening or start happening. And then thinking about why do you want what you want? I want you to really pause for a minute there. You know, do you want more money? Do you want a new job? Do you want to leave your spouse? Do you want to get a spouse? Do you want to travel? Do you want to move? Do you want to lose 20 kilos? Why do you want all of those things? And when you go back to that and think, you know, I mean, this is what we uncover and discover in my coaching is, and it's the same, it's universal with every single person I talk to. The things that we want may be different, but underneath the why do we want it? We want to feel peace. We want to feel fulfilled. We want to feel freedom. We want to feel joy. And we think that getting these things will give us that result. But if you look at, you know, the new job, you know, maybe it's more money if you want that. Oh, I want more money. Well, why do you want more money? I want more freedom. I want more possibility. Or maybe, you know, if the job you have isn't fulfilling, you feel a new job would be more fulfilling. I want fulfillment. I want to feel like I matter, that what I'm doing is making a difference. is important and meaningful in the world. And the thing is, even a street sweeper can feel fulfilled and like their life has meaning, because it's not about what we do, it's about how we do it. And again, that comes back to to the inside. Hi Karen, welcome. So let's just pause and take a breath. And again, this whole theme of this, these spirit messages today are all about the freedom that's possible for us to give ourselves without needing conditions to change. And it's okay to want things. That's a very human part of us. And it can be very powerful if you haven't looked before of, extrapolating, reducing down to the foundation of why. And, something I teach in my coaching sometimes is this concept of be, do, and have. So most of us show up in the world doing, having, and being. We do something. So say you do your job. You do your job because you want to have money. You want to have money because, again, you want to experience and feel a certain way. We don't want paper money that's meaningless. We want the possibilities and the freedom that paper provides. So we do to have, to be. But the magical thing is we can flip that to be, do, and have. So when you start with being, I want freedom. I want to feel free. I want to feel, expansive and possibility. We can all feel that right now if we intend to and we choose to. So feeling into the states of being that you want to experience from the having. So I can feel free right now in my body if I tune in. And then, so say the job example, the end result wanting to feel free and fulfilled. Okay, let me create that within myself right now. And then I will do my job. Then I will do my work. Your work and everything you do will be at a higher level because it's imbued with that intention and that state of being. So the quality of your doing will be much higher. And then the having, you will actually get a better result. You'll get a raise, you'll get more money, you'll create an amazing, better job opportunity. So be, do, and then have. Your having, the result will be much richer. But usually we just do, looking at the have, and even forgetting about the being. Or that's like subconscious, so we get to flip that. So, is that landing? Is that making sense? What is opening up for you? And if you think about, your own areas of life and challenge and what you want. This is all about the theme of, going back to our inner sovereignty, our inner state of being, our emotional signature, that we can create and letting that imbue our doing in our life. And that's how, the highest intentional people live. I think about Oprah. She's had many spiritual guests on her show and promoted many books. And how many of you know Gary Zukav and The Seat of the Soul? That book. It's a very powerful book. And she had him on her show in the 90s when that came out. And she talked about how that book changed her life and how she worked with, it changed how she ran her business and how she showed up, because that book talks about the power of intention, which is sort of what I'm talking about in different words. But she would talk about, before every work meeting, or of course before every show, she'd think about, what is my intention here? And when you think about it through that lens as well, that kind of zeroes it down and helps get clear on, I want to create this result. Who do I need to be in order to create that? Awesome, CB. Nancy, you have the book. I had it a few years ago. I mean, y'all that have been with me many years here, I know that I brought it into the live streams. It's a very thick book. Not very, but in me living in the lifestyle that I have, I just can't have big, thick books traveling around with me. So I traveled with it for a while, and then I gifted it. Hi, Anna. Yes, Gary Zukav, Zukav, Z-U-K-A-V, The Seat of the Soul. It's a spiritual classic. So I have my three books that I always carry. New Earth, and Oprah did this book study as well, those of you that remember, 20 years ago now. Actually, that's crazy, but it's true. When was this published? Who all remembers when 2005? Yes, thank you, Anna. When she did this, it was like a 2-month book study on her show, and she did like live streams or webinars or something with Eckhart in this book 20 years ago. That's crazy. But yeah, this is an amazing book. This has been one of my Bibles. And then of course, Conversations with God. And then my beloved AA, Alcoholics Anonymous book, because I work with people and taking them through the 12-step process. And you can see that's a very beloved and dog-eared book. So those are the books that I take with me. So back to the cards. I've already shuffled our wonderful light seers, and 2 cards popped out. So the building of this message for you all, we have the 9 of Swords, and we have the 8 of Cups, and look at these energies. Very heavy energy. This is a card of nightmares. You see a pillow there in the original tarot. It's somebody like in a bed at night having a nightmare, and it's really dark energy. This one's a little bit brighter, but if we pull it back to the theme of this reading, it's like we're going to suffer if we live in this way of living conditionally and allowing, the world just to, and its circumstances and its happenings, to dictate our inner state of being. And it's about baby steps, you know. I mean, it's a big goal to shift from letting go of the outside, letting go of things needing to change in the outside to feel different inside. And, you know, Michael Singer always says, just, you know, low-hanging fruit, baby steps, tiniest things. So it's like when the big things happen, like my example the other night, when, I mean, I was forced, I had no choice but to, you know, let go and work with what was there in the moment. And he also says, life is giving you the exact experience you need for your evolution and your enlightenment, and that you can handle it. Like whatever comes up, you can handle because it's coming up. So again, it's not easy. And then we have this Eight of Cups. It's a card of disappointment and loss and walking away, but it's got some brightness to it. You can see she's walking towards a bright horizon. She's walking towards something new. So what this is all saying is, like, you know, in order to truly change and have this transformation, you're going to have to let go of the old ways, and they're familiar, they're comfortable, there's comfort. There's ease. We know how to distract. We know how to try and manipulate the outside world. You know, one of my favorite things Singer says is, you know, if getting what you wanted worked, you would stop wanting things. So simple, so true. If getting what you wanted worked, you'd stop wanting. But no, we never stop wanting. It's always the next thing. Well, I got the, you know, oh, you get the new job. Oh, but now I need this, you know. Or, you know, oh, I want out of this relationship. And you get out thinking, you know, you'll be happy. Oh, but now I want a new partner. Like, it never ends. It never ends. And we all want these things because we're wanting to feel something here. So going back to Michael Singer's original quote here on this card, enthusiasm, joy, and love. If you can feel that all the time, then who cares what happens outside? So that lands deeper. Totally, Dreisel. Yeah, I love that. You know, it does. It's like, how much longer do you want to marinate and stew in this? And it's, you know, I'm always about being with ourselves and not gaslighting ourselves. And, you know, there's also accountability that we get to give ourselves. So it's like, yeah, you know, you need to feel whatever you need to feel here. And I mean, Spirit is saying it's time. If you're hearing this message, it's for you. You're ready for it. It's time to let go, because there's new things coming, and we're all being called into it. You know, we're evolving. Humanity is a planet, and all of these things that look really challenging in the world and really difficult, you know, as a whole, and then whatever is within your own life, it's all here to help us. You know, going back to this, creating heaven on earth. It's happening. It might not look the way we think. I mean, for me, that excruciating experience the other night doesn't look like enlightenment. Doesn't feel like it. But it did force me to stretch and grow by forcing me into presence. Oh, tower moment. Tower moment is coming. So this is kind of like either something's happened or will happen that will facilitate this process for you. And, you know, with the story I'm telling today, I mean, my tower moment was the other night. A tower moment is defined as something that comes from outside. The lightning is striking the tower. There's not a fire starting inside the tower burning it down. It's an event, it's a happening coming from the outside and tearing the whole structure down. So it can feel outside of your control. It can feel random. It can be surprising. And it's not pleasant. I mean, sorry. It's just the tower to me. People that don't know tarot will be like, death card. Ooh, you got the death card. No, the death card is good. It's about, I mean, they're all good, but it's about transformation. The tower card is the one that's like, ooh, you got the tower card. But again, it's all here conspiring for your best and highest good. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Three of Wands, so it's open. I mean, look at the different energy here. Look at just the colors. On all these cards, very dark, and look at the brightness. So this is all conspiring. As Dreisel said, a brighter future. And you can even see, look at the globe, look at the travel magazine. It might be travel for some of you. It might be inner travel. But you're gonna start, it's gonna force you to look at new possibilities and new options. It's gonna force you out of these old ways of being that you're outgrowing and leaving behind. So it's like she's walking into that light. This is the light. So I'm so glad that we're here today, that I've been able to be here with you in the ways that I have. Hi, Denise. Par for the course. Ooh, how creative. Perspective, accountability, reset. That's so perfect. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, that's kind of a very concise statement of the theme of today. So beautiful. So we will close with some Reiki and ancestral clearing. And then move on with our day. Who else is a World Cup follower? Besides me, we have a big day, especially here in Mexico. Mexico is playing. So I'm going to be looking forward to a day of 2 World Cup games. Yeah. So, but before we close, we will do a bit of Reiki clearing and then get to move forward. So let's close our eyes together just for a few moments. And just settle in, drop in. And really based on, our entire session today, I really want you to feel into the interior of your body. And just drop into that seat of your soul, the seat of consciousness. And what that means is there's a place within you that's infinite and timeless, that never changes, that no matter what's happening in or outside of you is a grounded presence with a capital P that we call the I am. And that's that infinite part of us that is God, whatever you believe that to be. that came into this physical incarnation and that will go when this physical body leaves back to source. And when we can start having that seat be our where we rest our consciousness, then all of the things outside of us, or even the sensations and challenges within our body, will not have the sway or the effect that they do have on us, because we will be grounded, steady in that seat of self with a capital S. And you can practice feeling into that with Ramana Maharshi's famous question, who am I? Who is the one thinking these thoughts? We naturally would answer, me. I am. Who am I? Who are you? Who is that one that's thinking? And that's a question without an answer that uses words. And this question points us to drop down into that I am presence and sense that. So it's a practice and a process that you can drop into. And just getting a glimmer is enough. As this Reiki energy healing flows to you, just allowing that to occur. Your body, mind, spirit will draw it in, whatever is perfect for you. And just allow the medicine of this energy. Surrender to it. Breathe in and out. And just surrender and let go. Infinite Creator, source of all that is, we love you. Thank you for loving us. We humbly ask that you open, bless, expand, lead, guide, and direct us into your perfect light, love, and life, and always, completely, now and forever, please and thank you. For ourselves, all of our family members, all of our relationships, all of our ancestors, and all of their relationships through all relevant time, space, and dimension. For all hurts, wrongs, judgments, and burdens, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, sexual, and financial, through thought, word, or deed. Please help us all forgive each other, forgive ourselves, forgive all people, and all people forgive us completely and totally, please and thank you. Infinite Creator, for the highest good, please lift out all weight, pain, burden, sin, death, debt, negativity, spells, hexes, curses, black magic, white magic, guilt, fear, shame, unworthiness, and limitation of all kind. Transform it into your love and let your love flow back in and through us, filling and giving us all complete peace now and forever. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. Please help us love and bless each other. Love and bless ourselves. Be at peace with each other and at peace with ourselves. Please and thank you, please and thank you, please and thank you. And just allow this Reiki healing, this ancestral clearing, to move in, through, and around you, knowing that you are receiving whatever is needed for your best and highest good now. So be it done. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So you can come back to a wakeful state if you choose. Gina, viva Mexico! I just saw this now, 10 minutes later. Dreisel. Wonderful, this has been helpful. And yeah, I hear you on that. Ooh, par for your course. Presence, allowing, and rebirth, a hole in one. I love it. Love your creativity, Denise. Thank you. So if you haven't already and you care to, don't forget to follow me here on Insight Timer. Please give a donation if this was helpful. Don't forget about my 50 birthday gifted sessions. Still have a handful of spots remaining for those, so there's no restriction, there's no expectation. A gift that I am giving for my 50th year. So write to me 50 if you would like to receive that gift. You're welcome, J.E. Thank you. I feel better. You know, isn't it interesting how that can happen? I feel better than I did before the session, and I'm so glad I did not cancel. I just told myself, well, if I even come on for 15 minutes, that's fine. And then here we are. I actually had to make our Reiki a little short to stay within the hour. So yeah, there you go. So stay tuned for live streams for July. I am quite busy with my 50 gifted sessions, so I'm gonna have to, I don't know, I'll get creative. I know we'll be going live every Sunday at this time, and that might be, usually I go live twice a week, and it might be once a week due to the popularity of my gift in my schedule. So thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Laura, for the donation. Nancy, thank you so much. So you will see me next week, same time. And if you follow, you'll get notified. And thank you all for your comments, for your participation, for your presence, your love, your support. I also do offer card readings one-on-one as a paid service, as well as my Reiki and Ancestral Clearing. Thank you, Amy, and you as well. Yeah, I've gotten this new love for the World Cup that I've never had before. That's part of the gifts of my vacation. Thank you, Gina. Thank you so much. So yeah, I'm totally obsessed with the World Cup now. And it's so fun. And I grew up playing soccer for 11 years. So, I mean, I've always loved the game. And I just, being an American, we just don't. It's changing now, but typically, professional soccer has not been a thing in the US. So I'm glad I've found it now, and especially living in Mexico today. Mexico, if they win, it will be a huge surprise. But it's awesome to live in a country where the World Cup's being hosted and the team, Mexico has gotten the farthest they've ever gotten. So out here on the lake, they're going to have a big screen tonight. The game will be playing live, and everybody will be there, and so it's very fun. So thank you so much. All right, I will see you all soon, and much love, and namaste.